here in South Africa. And hello from everybody, for everybody who is watching from across the world. You are tuned in to the Wednesday warm up. It's metaverse. It's the metaverse lingo, guys. Don't judge me. I'm coming up with a new language. You see, I'm being innovative. Yes, thank you so much for tuning in from across the world. I'm your host, Leandra Boysons, better known as Lee B. Okay. I'm gonna hand over now to my co-hosts. My mind is a bit fried from all the metaverse research that I have done. But good morning, gentlemen's.
Yeah, good morning.
Because I'm only surrounded by gentlemen's here.
Come on.
Came on.
How you guys doing this morning?
The lingo.
I was up at 1 a.m. This morning, so please do forgive me.
Wait, bro, just hang on. Top of the morning.
Top of the morning.
Top of the morning. Top of the morning. Top of the morning.
Top of the morning. Top of the morning. Top of the afternoon and top of the evening. What's happening to the Wednesday warm-up crew? Thank you so much for tuning in and for joining us this morning. We have an exciting topic, the metaverse. Oh my goodness, where the world is going, how the world will look like in the next years to come. And I'm so excited because this is one of my favorite topics, and I'm just really looking forward to learning. And interact with us. Send us all your questions on the chat. Let us know what you want to know. And contribute as well, because we do know that our people that are joining the Wednesday warm-up are quite clued up. So I think we're going to get into it. But first of all, good morning, Jesse. What's happening, my brother? Come on, give us some energy this morning. It is a Wednesday, bro.
Not good morning, Jesse. Good morning, Joy Paris.
Oh.
Hey.
Lekker. Okay, so for who is that now? Is it for which Jay?
That's Jess.
That's
Oh,
for
is
Jess.
that for me?
I don't have an intro song because I am the only woman in the room. You see what is happening here, ladies. My intro, nux.
Okay,
It's just
this is yours,
hello,
this is
good
yours.
morning. I am Lee.
Yay!
So why didn't you play that when we came into the show? But it's okay, producer
do
Clay.
apologize.
It's okay, producer Clay.
I do
Are
apologize.
you happy with the choice?
It's a good choice, but it's over now.
It's done.
It's past.
Can we start the show over?
Okay, Jesse, lekker.
Okay, lekker. Good morning to all the viewers out there. Thank you so much for tuning in on this beautiful Wednesday morning. I hope you learned something from us here today, and we could also learn something from you. So please, go into the chat to us there. Let us know what's happening, even if it has nothing to do with the metaverse. Let us know how your Wednesday is going, even, man. Yeah, man, just let us know. Thank you so much.
Plus,
Jay
you have the
Paris, over to
Lekkerverse
you.
most now. You can speak about the
Yay.
Lekkerverse.
Hey, the lekkerverse. Yeah, no. I know that this is, even Jess, this is his things, this.
Aye.
He gets excited, especially when we start talking money. Yo, cryptocurrency.
Money come first.
NFTs. Oh, yo,
Wow.
hi.
Did
This
you say
brother-
money come first?
Come forth.
Come
Oh,
forth,
okay.
come forth.
Yo, this man wanted to rebuke me.
He
so
wanted to.
I saw.
eh?
Aye,
Came with
yo.
that spirit.
He
Plus,
was
plus
ready.
I saw he walked in with a sling bag, with a Bible in a sling bag. I
was
see
ready.
he's turning into one of those that
Bible
you see there in the
bashers.
streets.
Bible
Yeah.
bash.
Come right. Repent.
Yeah, you must repent.
For the kingdom of God is
Is
near. Jay?
Hey, no song. They used your song on them.
Sorry, Jay, no song. Go on.
It's cool. Put some respect on my name. Come on, bro. What's happening? Yes, sir. They don't want us to win. But good morning. What's happening, damn, bro? These earphones are hella loud, but it's all good.
I'll try and find the channel.
That's what happens when you come late.
Yes, sir. But it's all better late than never. Better late than never.
You're speaking in tongues there, my brother.
But yeah, man, it's amazing to be here. I'm blessed, highly favored, anointed.
Yay!
Filled with the Holy Ghost. And it's a beautiful
Come
Wednesday
on.
morning.
Yay.
God is still on the throne. Always
Hallelujah.
will be. We give him the glory. We give him the honor. We give him
Yay.
the adoration. We worship his holy name. For there's no one like him. Let's go. Go
Come
deeper.
on.
That's what I'm talking about. Speaking of getting involved in the live chat, I'm not too sure if Daniel is here this week, but
I
last week
doubt
he
it.
left us a comment to say, yes, I wish I was in the live chat. He had something to say about being self-made, eh? He
Wow.
says that he's got an opposing view.
Yay!
A contrasting view.
Okay.
That
I
was his
with-
word.
I was with him yesterday.
He says that he's got a contrasting view to what we were talking about last week about the self-made.
love
But
to
I
hear
think it
that
was
view.
the football part that really got him riled up. Hey, don't you guys think so? So
most
I don't
probably.
know, Daniel. I don't know if you're here this morning.
He hasn't been here for a while.
Oh, okay.
No, that brother's getting ready for his board exam.
Okay. As long
So
as you're
what
not
we-
bored, as long as you're just getting ready for your board exams. I don't know. I hope we're not boring. That's what he means. But anyway, guys, today we are talking about this thing called the metaverse. So for me, I recently stumbled upon the metaverse when Facebook changed its name to Meta. But I wasn't, well, they rebranded now to Meta. But I wasn't really sure. Yeah,
Come on now.
Whose phone that be?
phone.
Now the meta picked up that
Yeah,
we're speaking about.
yeah. The walls have ears, hey? And I'm talking about Facebook's wall. Hey, did you hear that?
Wow.
Hear that? Okay,
Got
guys.
that.
But it's the walls. Isn't it the walls have eyes? Or is it ears?
The walls have everything.
It has fingers. Comment.
Wow. But so I only recently stumbled upon the metaverse, and then I started, like, you know how the algorithm works. I don't also know how, because I didn't show interest in it. I saw that Facebook rebranded. It's Meta now. Whichever app you open up, WhatsApp, Instagram, you see there, Meta. It's no longer Facebook. I think it will take some time for us to adopt, don't you think? Because I still say Facebook.
Yeah.
Most people still
and
say
the
Facebook.
and the app icon on your phone has not changed yet. It's still the F. Well, for me, I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna.
So it hasn't. That hasn't changed yet. Still the F, right? So it's going to take some
time.
time to adopt to this new
So everything's gonna be meta.
meta.
What, meta book, meta app,
No, I don't
No,
think
it's just
so. It's probably
Meta.
just gonna
Meta.
sit.
all the social apps.
Yeah.
Well, most of them.
Well,
the
all
Facebook
all
owned.
the Facebook
Just
owned
Facebook.
ones, yeah. So I
So the
don't know.
gram.
Did you check when you went into your WhatsApp? The opening thing is
Meta.
that.
Yeah.
That
That's
infinity
infinity, yeah.
sign, and then you've got Daniel is here. Daniel is in the live. Good morning,
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Dupree.
Thank you
Good
so
morning. So yeah, and even on Instagram it says they're powered by Meta. It's like the Wednesday warm up powered by the Inside Show. You know what I'm saying? There
And
is
we-
power behind.
And we also blew.
And we also blew. But now, first and foremost, guys, like for me, I only recently found out about metaverse
Yeah.
as a concept, right? I was completely confused. Even yesterday, I'm like
Yesterday,
to Jesse, what is this thing? I don't get it, because like I've been seeing videos pop up on my YouTube channel. I was watching one video by Russell Brand. That was the first one that it said something of, I can't remember the title and I don't want to butcher it, but the it was about the metaverse, and then it said you should be terrified, or it's terrifying, or something like that. And he basically goes into like the intricacies of the metaverse, and he mostly highlights the negative parts of the metaverse. And I don't think Russell Brand is a very big fan of Mark Zuckerberg anyway. So
Why?
let's just I don't know let's just start
Maybe
there.
he's richer than him.
But do you guys, first and foremost, let's first go into an understanding based on a definition of metaverse. Does anybody know what the metaverse is? Break it down for us in layman's terms. We can do the Google definition of it, and then let's just how we interpret it, because I feel like that's what's important, right? How commoners interpret what the metaverse is. So does anybody know what the metaverse in essence is?
Yeah.
Over to the experts.
Come on. Well, I actually checked out something yesterday, and it gave a beautiful definition to what it actually is. So it's basically a virtual environment where you can be present and connect with people digitally.
Okay.
So it is also basically, they believe that it will be the successor of global internet. So it is you being in the internet instead of looking at it.
Oh, okay.
So that
Like you.
is what.
As a person,
Yes.
You create
Like
the avatar.
avatar.
Yeah.
So you become a virtual person.
100%.
Okay. Chase, your understanding of the metaverse, or what does it look like to you when you read the definitions? But what do you see?
For me, metaverse is huge. It's big. It's very big.
So it
basically
can't
what
just
I
be
think-
boxed
yeah,
into
so
like.
basically what I see is, like Mr. Miller said, it's the virtual environment that you go basically into. So you'll basically be with your VR glasses, your VR goggles, and they still working on a whole lot of stuff that you can use with your hands and all that stuff. There is stuff out now that can be used with virtual gaming and all that. But yeah, they're working on all that. But basically where you enter this new world outside of your reality. So you're sitting in your house, but you're entering a world. Let's say I'm sitting here, but I'm going to Southgate in my virtual world, basically.
Yeah, so you
It's a
can
dumb
do
example, but
online
you do
shopping.
online shopping, basically, type of a thing. But you're basically entering this virtual world that they have created, or that you can create for yourself, based on you can build, you can purchase land within your virtual world, and you can start building on your virtual land, and eventually, if it becomes popular on popular areas and stuff, you can actually sell your land for cryptocurrencies and stuff like that. So it's a huge thing. So they basically bring the cryptos into it with the non-fungible token, which is your NFTs, into your metaverse. So it's a whole broad thing where it's basically just going digital now.
Okay, so it's like Minecraft but on steroids.
100%.
Minecraft in
it's
reality.
Basically Minecraft in reality.
Okay, Jade, what's your understanding of metaverse when you hear about it, or what do you see it? What do you foresee about the metaverse?
We are ready. We are ready.
You are ready.
We are leaving this world. Nah, I'm only kidding, man. There's a lot of pros and cons towards it. I mean, dead times 2. Dead here and dead there. Sure.
Nah, but the nice thing about that debt is you can't purchase if you don't have upfront.
If you don't have up front. So
Yo.
there won't be negotiations yet.
I think that space is actually going to create a lot of wealthy people.
It will,
It's
especially
gonna
if you
create a
jump
lot
into
of
it
wealth.
now.
a lot of fat, wealthy people.
Like a lot of wealth.
And
It will
personally, on
introduce-
my side, I feel there's more pros to cons to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's so many opportunities of investment right now as we speak, and I think it will probably present the world's first trillionaires. That space.
Okay, so
But it's not tangible, though, eh?
Well, it's tangible. I mean,
can you
you can withdraw
can you
your
cash
your
out here in the
funds.
real world?
Yes.
It's crypto, so you can crash out basically. You're purchasing through crypto and all that. So
Printed money. You can cash out. But I don't know, bro. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see how we're gonna transact moving forward. I don't know if we will even print money anymore.
but that was also telling Lee. But I don't know. Let's hear from Lee in which direction she wants this conversation to
no,
go.
no, no. I'm not, there's not a specific direction that I want it to go to. I want to open it up to anybody because I want the conversation to flow.
just
Because
flow.
this
Look-
is how people are talking about the
Yeah.
metaverse, trying to understand what it's new to all
Yeah.
of us,
Yeah.
right? It's obviously been introduced slowly but surely, and we've started to get the hang of it. If you think about it, we've already gone somewhat virtual. It's obviously not to this
Yeah.
extent of the metaverse. But think about it. I just think about it this way. Timing is so important.
Yes.
I don't think that the meta from Facebook just fell out of the sky. I don't think it was a new concept.
at all.
I think that they've been working on it because no great business person, and you've got to give it to Mark Zuckerberg. He's got a brilliant mind, right? He's a creative. He's an innovator. So he's got an absolutely creative mind. Not taking that
And
away
a
from
buyer,
him.
Let's say that.
Good
He's a
buyer.
good creator, but
and
when
a great-
something goes big,
but
he's
he-
like, okay, I want that. let's
Okay,
bring it
okay,
here.
he's a good businessman,
Yes.
right? He's a very good businessman. He understands the markets and he understands time and those kinds of things. But if you look at the timing of the launch of Meta or the rebranding of Meta, not the launch, because it's a rebranding of Facebook. I think it's so opportune in the sense that it came about almost at the right time. Think about it. COVID, we went into lockdown. We were in essence separated from each other, right? So we kind of we were forced to live in a somewhat virtual reality
Yeah.
with Zoom meetings,
Yeah.
with just getting into basically digital spaces. So we were on Zoom meetings, we were on Facebook, Instagram. We basically lived
Where they also
on the
created-
social media
Facebook
platforms.
itself went and created that virtual thing of concerts where artists can actually do their
Yes,
virtual concerts and all
concerts
that.
started
Horizon.
becoming
People
virtual.
just released one as well now.
Yeah.
Is it the
Pretty dope.
Facebook Horizon? Is that what you guys are speaking about?
Is it?
think
I'm not
it's
sure what's
Horizon.
the name. But I just know they launched that for their
Instagram Lives was booming at this time. Facebook Watch, right? It's called Facebook Watch.
I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
want
yeah,
them.
Yeah, Facebook Watch. I mean, I never used. I only recently joined Facebook. I'm rejoined, not joined. Rejoined.
Yo, where
I
were
was
you?
I was
Living under a
absent.
rock.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yo.
I deactivated my account a couple of years, my Facebook account a couple of years ago, and I think I remained deactivated from Facebook for almost 5 years. So I was off from that platform. So when I came back, things were completely new, and I was like, how do I navigate this? I also removed myself from Twitter, just like toxic environments, and it was for myself, it was personal, it had nothing to do with anybody else. It was literally just so that I could do a cleansing of social media, which we're going to get to the part of separating yourself and sanitizing yourself from social media, and what does that now mean for this new virtual world that we're living in. But anyway, I'm saying that the timing of it was so critical, I feel, the rebranding of Meta and entering the metaverse space. And Jess and I were speaking, and he brought it under my attention that Microsoft has also now entered the metaverse,
Yes,
right?
they have.
But with Microsoft, it's more for office spaces. So it's more for work environments. It's more for that. With Facebook, it's for education, social media, and also there will also be workspaces, because that's what that's what Meta actually wants to create in the metaverse. Workspaces where people can have virtual meetings with each other. Like Jesse was saying, obviously the key factor here is going to be those VR goggles, or the glasses that they are. So now let's talk about the technology around this whole thing, guys. Speaking of which, Jess, starting with the virtual goggles, you were saying that it's not going to just be the goggles itself, because in that video I think I saw the guy with just normal frames on. So let's talk about the convenience of the technology specifically. So we'll talk about convenience, but specifically as it pertains to the technology that they're using. So let's talk about that convenience factor. What do you guys foresee in our future with regards to the convenience factor?
So here's the thing, right? Looking at this metaverse, it is basically merging three concepts. It's gaming, it's the virtual reality, and it's cryptocurrency. So I've seen that they're actually working on, and Mark Zuckerberg was saying that it's probably going to be one of the high-end products that they have, and it is actually those virtual reality goggles with. There's a specific name for it. I just completely forgot what it was. But everyone will potentially have or own that set of virtual reality goggles with the two handles. And it's actually, they were saying that they were working on the hands. So the hands was like the most difficult part to work on, because like it's one of the best features that we have. So that bringing that into the virtual reality was quite difficult. And when I look at how it could potentially be in terms of technology, we look at the movie. I don't know if you guys watched the movie called Ready Player One by Steven Spielberg, where these guys are living like on top of one another. Their real world is no more. It's non-existent. And then when they go into like a small caravan, they have their whole setup with the suit and the goggles. And then they go into this virtual reality world where they can transact, where they are known. They can choose to keep their names known, unknown. Like it's all up to you. And basically they can do whatever. You can be a criminal in that world. You can rob banks. You can, do good things. So I think in terms of technology, that is what we potentially looking at. Someone owning those goggles, and also they were speaking about holograms, where people will actually have hologram. I mean, we've already seen the hologram effect coming into like our cars, where you have a display not showing on the dashboard, but it's now on the windscreen. So I think that is where we're going, and I think that could potentially look like the technology.
Is there gonna be a choice though, bro?
What do you mean?
In terms of the goggles and so forth, do we have a choice to enter this world, or?
Well, if you don't get involved, you're gonna be left behind, bro.
Yeah, you do have. You mean like to purchase the goggles or not?
Yeah.
So
Like
you cannot operate in this world without the augmented reality, without the goggles. And I think it's called Project Naze or Nazer. I'm not too sure of the pronunciation, but it's spelled Nazare.
Oculus.
So
the
basically,
name of the company as
It's
well.
Oculus, yeah.
yeah. But it says here that
Ashley's company.
Actually,
yeah. So the augmented reality glasses, code-named Project Naze or Naze.
Nazir.
Yeah, Nazir. we'll call it Project Nazir. But yes, Jay. So in order for you, well, if you want to function or operate in this
yeah, but
virtual
I'm saying,
world,
is it gonna be forced upon everyone?
No,
No,
Because
it's not forced.
I don't think
it's
so.
like I said, if you don't
you
want
don't
to
want,
have
you don't.
meta, if you don't want to live in this world, then
You won't matter.
But I feel like
Won't
it's,
matter.
I feel like it's
it
gonna
won't
get to
matter
a point
if you don't want to
where
do
it's like
it.
your cell phone basically.
You have
Everyone
to.
has it, so you basically want to get into it as well.
You
And
want to be connected.
yeah, you want to be connected, and everything's gonna go digitally
Yeah.
through your meta.
And it
basically.
goes back
So
to that
it's-
convenience factor. The world is becoming more convenient. Like I had a discussion with Jesse yesterday. Globalization before like the third industrial revolution was no, even before the third industrial revolution, let's say with the advent of the industrial revolution, globalization as a concept was very far-fetched. We didn't really understand like a world with no borders. What do you mean a world with no borders? There's different countries, different continents. But this is like globalization on steroids. I'm using steroids a lot today. Is this
Stay
a
away
sign
from
for
it,
somebody?
please.
So the convenience factor is this, that you can travel anywhere within your virtual world, and this is the concept of it, and I think this is what they ultimately want to get to. And I think their biggest driving force is the convenient factor. The fact that seeing, and it's so, that's why I said it's critical, the time that they launched it, it was during a pandemic where people couldn't move around, so they were forced, they were confined to their reality spaces, but they still needed to connect with people, and this is the ideal opportunity to do so, because you can say, well, you've already been working on Zoom, people are still staying at home and having meetings on Zoom and stuff. This is just taking that and making it so much more convenient. It's a one-stop shop for all of those things. You can shop online, you can work online, you can learn online. So the amazing thing that I saw with this, and I was watching a video, the username of the YouTuber is what is it?
Mr. Who's the Boss?
Mr. Who's the Boss, right? And it's this guy who does like he's a technology expert, Clyde, if I'm not mistaken.
He's
He does
tech-
reviews. He
tech
does
YouTuber,
reviews. Yeah. Tech YouTuber. He's a tech YouTuber. And so he mentioned, he was talking about the pros and the cons of Meta, right? And he mentioned 7 pros and he mentioned 4 cons in this video, and I will link it below. But he speaks about the seven key factors of Meta. He speaks about experiences. Our experiences will be heightened. If we want to travel to another realm, we can do so by literally the click of a button. Right? That is what Meta is introducing to us. You don't have to take a flight or a train or catch or whatever. You don't have to drive to those places. You can literally go there. And then this is the next part, teleportation. Through teleportation, teleportation was like a far-fetched phenomenon for us.
Yeah.
Although we might not physically be teleporting to another, but this is what teleportation has
I was just
become.
gonna ask, how is those goggles like legit gonna play with your emotions and senses
might.
and so forth on? Is it gonna
It
be
might.
to that extent?
It's
but
gonna be
they're
to that
working on that,
extent.
because even with that video, they was basically speaking about there's like this bracelet type of thing that you put on where they're trying to basically work with the nerves and stuff of your body.
So it reads
So
the
it
nerves.
reads the nerves and everything. So before you don't even need like that. That Alden was speaking about the things in your hands and stuff. Basically, just by you doing this, you're basically typing now.
Wii controls.
Basically, like a Wii control that he was speaking of. Yeah. But now, basically, with that bracelet, with the nerves and everything, just by you writing on like your pants or your lap
Literally
or
on
something,
a
the
surface.
surface, you're literally writing within that world, or you can literally feel emotion within the world now. That's what they're trying to bring across.
So basically, it's basically neurological technology,
Yeah.
right? It depends on your neurons. So it's neuron transmitters in the body. Neurological transmitters, your neurons. So they basically it's going to, and I don't know if you guys watch the series Black Mirror.
No.
So, that series is like literally unfolding before my very eyes right now, because Black Mirror basically highlights the dangers of becoming so dependent on technology, living in this virtual world, and how detached you become from reality. So much so that you depend fully on your virtual world. So in the one episode, right? So it's different episodes. It's not like a continuation. There's different storylines within the series. In the one episode, it's about a couple, right? And they've got these. You can basically, through your iris, you can play back memory and experiences. So what this one lady does, she has an affair, and her husband finds out, and he can see what she does by looking at her memory. So basically that holographic thing that you show, so he basically says, I want to see. So that's but that's what this technology, this is basically where it wants to get to. It's not at that level yet, but this is where it's going to, like they were saying, with that whole bracelet that they want to create and stuff like that. So if you want to complete a sentence, right, if you want to type something, you don't necessarily have to type the full thing. You can think it.
And I was thinking about that with video editing. That will be
Okay,
hard.
Well, X wants to say something.
No, I was watching a podcast the other day, and these guys actually went into where, like, remember laser tag, where it's like a warehouse, and there's like different rooms and stuff like that. So they're setting up warehouses with different rooms and different. So when you go in, you put on the whole outfit and you put on the goggles. Then you're basically in a world.
Alice in Borderland.
So then you can up and down in that world. You can, like laser tag. You shoot each other, you play a game or do whatever. But you're in a closed warehouse. So there's also going to be different warehouses where you can go and play games, I guess, virtual games.
Yeah. So
I know Korea is big on that also.
Yeah.
They have virtual theme parks.
Yes. And the next thing about it is expression. So your avatar that you create, you don't have to create your avatar according to what you look like, Jay. If you want to be lighter skinned or darker skinned, you can create it that way. If you want to have straighter hair, so it's catfishing on another level. So what they were saying, say for instance, there's somebody who is bound to a wheelchair, somebody who is somebody is bound to a wheelchair, right? They can create their avatar, not just being able to walk or run, but being able to fly. So you can create your cavatar,
Cavities.
your caviar. You can create your avatar in such a way that is completely different. It's how you express yourself. So if you want to express yourself as a woman, Aldrin, you can do so. If I want to express myself as a man, I can do so. It's all about expression. It's opening up. It's opening up the opportunities, and the opportunities are endless. Basically, you can create anything. You create your virtual world.
So you can basically say tall, dark, and a troll.
Basically, you can be an animal. You don't have to be. So you can go by the pronouns woof. You can go by the pronouns meow. Yeah, literally that's where this is what it's introducing, this world of endless possibilities, literally. Another thing about it, and also your virtual world that you create, right? You build, like Jesse was saying, you can purchase, because you purchase land. Now you purchase land, now you build upon this. But I was saying to Jesse, Jay, you mentioned something that seemed funny, but it's true. Debt in the real world and debt in the non-real world. I don't think necessarily you'll be able to. They will maybe make provision for.
You can either be poor in the real world
and rich
in
the virtual world,
or poor here and
or
poor
rich and rich because struggle.
Exactly. So you'd still need to purchase these things, and then we go over to knowledge, right? So this thing of education, it was so interesting to see how you can literally place yourself in any era. So if you're learning about history, Jay, you can place yourself in the 16th century. Your avatar can go to the 16th century and you can learn about the 16th century there. So you don't have to necessarily. Previously, it was going.
And live in that space.
Yes, to learn about it.
You don't have to necessarily live in it, but you can see.
But you can see.
You can see it and you can learn from it.
Like watch tutorials and stuff.
So think about it this way, right? We went to physical libraries, and then we'd have to sit and read through books. And you wouldn't really understand or grasp what it was like living in that era. But now, through Meta and the Metaverse, you can place yourself in that. Even like when you're doing, say for instance, you studying, what is it, astronomy.
You're right,
Right? Astrology.
Geography.
You can place yourself in space, studying the planets,
Standing there. literally,
standing there.
and pointing at
That is
at the
what it's
star,
going
and
to
it
be like.
pops up and it gives you the years and
Yeah,
all
all
of that.
the
So the way that we now receive information is different. It's now no longer just through reading, it's through experiencing. And this is also what's different. Another thing about it, guys, productivity is going to be different, obviously. People are going to be forced into being constantly present in the moment, right? You're going to constantly have to, if you, Mr. Miller, are not going to log in at a specific time and work, that's going to cost you your money. That's going to cost you your livelihood. You're going to constantly need to be productive because everything is you can't say to your boss, I'm running late, there's traffic. What traffic? In your virtual car? Is there going to be traffic in your... No. If you have to log on, which means that the demand for labor is going to be so much
but that's
higher.
what I'm saying. What's the consequences physically in real life?
Look,
Yeah,
here's the
that's-
thing. They also said that
Because you
it-
can't like,
It's gonna
yeah,
be-
yeah, I was late. I do some out, bless
Yeah.
up.
it's gonna be persistent. So meaning that you're basically not gonna be able to shut it down. So right now you're going to a game, Fortnite game, and if you play the game, it ends. You lose everything that you built in there because it has a time limit. But now with this thing, you just log in. You in there. If you maybe go away from your screen, whatever the case may be, from your goggles, whatever, it still goes on. It continues. So it's like there's
The world continues. It's
yeah.
like literally
It's
around
gonna stay
the
there,
clock
bro.
work.
you leave your goggles, your avatar stands like it.
Buffering.
Then the impact on the environment. They say that it's so much better now, the impact on the environment, because they were talking this guy, Mr. Who's the Boss, right? He makes the example of car manufacturing. He says to manufacture a car is close to, you use up to manufacture a real car, you use up to close to 20 tons of carbon dioxide emissions. Whereas when you're creating a virtual car, it's 0.000000000. So if humans are not living, there's no need to anymore have the factories and those things that create pollution and what.
Yeah, you
People
don't
are
have
not
to get
outside
petrol.
littering anymore. People don't have to get petrol anymore. Those
But if
kinds of
that's
things.
the main focus, what do you think is going to happen on Earth?
But that's the thing. That's what we're going to get to. And then obviously this thing of the new economy. So they said that Meta is planning to create a Meta store called Horizon Marketplace. So they can sell clothing to you, they can sell anything to you, not just clothing. But you can also become a seller. And this comes into cryptocurrencies. And I know that the gents want to get onto this. And then NFTs. Jess, you were talking about, you made mention that NFTs, you can literally hang
important
your
part.
NFTs in your wall. So let's go into, what do you think, speaking about all the pros, but what cons do you foresee, or what problems do you foresee we running into with regards to all these wonderful possibilities that Meta is offering
I
us?
think Jay can bring up the problems. He likes to be very controversial.
Nah, bro,
That's the problems.
Nah, I think I've been asking.
Yeah, he's already said, he was talking about what
I-
happens.
I
But
don't
then-
know.
Yeah, he asked the question, so let's answer it. What do you think happens on Earth if everybody is bound to their physical homes, rooms? What happens to living actual real life out there? What happens to the earth? Who's going to, is there still gonna be a need for farmers? Obviously people still need to eat. Is there still gonna be a need for taxi drivers? Is there still gonna be a need for pilots? Is there still gonna be a need for, if we can teleport to a different place, those people that don't want to get the vaccines, and we don't need to travel.
Look, I think you're not gonna get anything better than the physical and the natural. There's nothing better than that. The thing is, with this metaverse, you're basically bridging physical and digital. So they're bringing it together, right? But there's nothing better than actually get that excitement of packing your luggage bag. heading to the airport,
ticket.
getting your boarding pass,
Diving into a swimming pool.
like that's
But
there's
you
just
can
nothing-
do that in the metaverse.
But
I mean, if you
and they can obviously
if
enhance
but,
the
enhance.
but listen,
The
if
feelings
your
and stuff.
neurological
Other feelings.
pathways, if your neurological pathways,
Explain
because
other
that's what it does.
Facts, bro. They're trying to
Explain other feelings.
make sure that you get those feelings also in the metaverse.
yeah,
Yes.
they
You
are.
can go push in the metaverse, bro.
It's true. It's true. You can.
Yeah.
And in one of
Does
the
it?
in one of the
That's
episodes
cheating.
of Black
100
Mirror, this
cheating.
lady's partner dies. Right in one of the
No, but it
episodes of
wasn't
Black
that a
Mirror,
robot.
this lady's partner dies, and they basically create not even an avatar, a real life, physical, touching
You won't feel him in the.
clone of her partner. And this partner knows how to talk because of all the data that has been collected. His facial expressions, obviously, if you constantly using your phone, video calling and stuff like that, if they save all that data, they can basically make another Aldrin because they've got your facial expressions on point. You're constantly using voice notes. They've got your voice on point. They've got your
DNA.
the things that you've searched for. They've seen like his search history, so they know that he likes certain things. So literally, they made this clone to the T. Even like Xavier was saying, for the purpose of the not getting flagged, the lekker part of
Sensual stuff.
the procreation tool, right? The procreation vehicle was also she could have procreation. It's together.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
In
find
that
a
in
word.
that in that
But
world.
Because-
if you have a loved one somewhere else, and like let's say I have a friend is living in London and his parents are here in South Africa, they speak to their grandchildren and stuff on FaceTime and all that. But it's not the same as going there and hugging the child and playing with the child.
But you
and
will,
being in
if
real
your
life.
neurological pathways are changed, you can actually do. You can.
Ah,
They,
bro, I don't
they're
think
going to
it's
find a
reality.
way to create that.
won't
I mean,
replace
you have technology now where you can hear your partner's heartbeat, or you can feel your partner's heartbeat in the ring. So they basically they connect the pulse, the pulsating thingy of the heart into the ring. So you feel if you guys are separated. You can feel your partner's heartbeat pulsate, your partner's heartbeat. You can, there's pillows also where you, like the scent of your partner, or the shape
Yeah,
of your partner,
like
whatever, where you can
mist,
sleep with pillows like that and you can still
that smells
feel.
like someone.
And
all
I
of
mean,
that.
people are catching on things, eh? Your virtual
So what the
Explain.
movie Ready Player One, the main character, basically the reality is built on a memory of the game's creator. So it's a game world where there's different levels, but if you are not playing, you can socialize, you can interact with the other players.
Yeah.
So a group of the players that are like the main characters, the protagonists in the
Premier
game.
Pro.
Yes. So what happens to them is they become friends, but they don't know how each other looks. So
In the
they have
real
different
life.
avatars, yeah.
Yeah.
They, until this corporation, like there's always a villain. There has to be a villain. And then what happens is this guy has a suit, a full body suit that he wears with his augmented goggles. So everything that happens in the game, if someone kicks him, the suit reacts to it. So it's basically a physical, the physical form of what happens in the game. And he has a treadmill. It's an omnidirectional treadmill also. So when he runs in the game or slides to the side, the treadmill follows him. So basically what's happening there, I don't know if you watched the Lego movies where they speak about the construct, anything of being a master builder. So basically the whole reality of the metaverse is becoming a Lego builder. But anything that you build, you actually own. So what's being said is like how the internet progressed. When the internet launched in 1991, there was the first website that was just a flat page.
Yeah.
And then after that, there was one video uploaded. That was the first video on the internet. And that was the internet 1.0. And then after that is what we have now, where you have YouTube and everything. Like YouTube, Instagram, and video calling and all of that. That's
So
internet.
it was a ripple effect.
Yeah, that's Internet 2.0. So now with the augmented reality or metaverse, that's Internet 3.0. Internet 3.0 means that there's ownership to it. So whatever you build, so the video that I was watching, the person was explaining the only thing that you could own when the internet started was your domain name. And with where we are now, you own the content that you upload. It's your content, but the platform is not yours. So with Internet 3.0, the platform becomes a part of your ownership. So what happens is whatever you build, people can visit there. So like with your NFT, if someone buys your NFT and sells it, you still get money from that. So it's yours. It's sole ownership. Just in a digital form.
So it's like you patent your creation.
It's like building
without having to apply for the license.
Because blockchain comes in with that, and everything has to be registered on there. So whatever you make, if you make 1 pixel on your reality, there has to be a code to it. So whenever you sell your pixel to someone else, you can still get money from it because it's based on ownership. So you get royalties for your something like that, like a copyright to whatever you design.
But another thing that we need to speak about is data usage, guys. You know that Facebook is notorious for being a bit
sketchy bongo.
Yeah, for being sketchy and selling their users' data to corporations, government, tech companies and stuff. So do you think that your privacy is going to become even more vulnerable in the metaverse? Because now you must remember, and this goes to the factor of moderation. They have to moderate everything. So they have to scrutinize inappropriate content, right? To see that it's not of a sexual nature, or it's not spam, or it's not whatever. So what do you think this does to our privacy? We heard about the Edward Snowden case, where he says that they actually watch what you're doing, and that's the reason why most people, most people have put a sticker in front of their camera on their laptops, because they say that they can watch. There's corporations out there that can have access to your information. What does this do to our privacy?
Mark Zuckerberg himself, where he has his laptop and he himself has a sticker over his camera.
Yeah.
So
I think your privacy is long gone, time ago already. With all your information all over the place, you've given up your privacy. Your banks have all your information. Your online platforms have your information. Literally, your information is literally all over the place. And I think the ultimate aim of this whole game is when they say if you don't pay for something, you are the product.
Yeah.
So you become the product of this metaverse, of Facebook, of whatever. And they found ways to make money off you, but they found it so cleverly that you don't even know you're the product.
Yeah, I think I wanted to say that the only private thing that you have now is your thoughts. It's only the stuff.
But that's not going to be private anymore, because data collection, it's on the level of measuring your brain activity. So remember that thing that they said, that where the things you think, they can already like depict. So that's what I'm saying. Like they already have done.
They'll never perfect that though.
No, I don't think so.
Even the devil doesn't know what you're thinking. Only God. He can influence your thoughts. And I think that's the aim. They influence you. Because remember, the world works in such a way. This morning we were driving and a song was playing. And Anka says, I'm starting to like the song. I'm like, that's how the radio works. They'll play a dome song over 10 million times in a day. And at some point you find yourself singing with, and you end up liking the song. Even though you didn't like it in the beginning. And that's part of how it works.
Look, I want to say this. There's always going to be a mastermind. We spoke about it in the beginning. The producer spoke about it as well. These guys, how convenient was it to introduce a digital virtual world now with the COVID pandemic? These guys control the world. They control behavior. Now what you have is something what they call there's a demand that was created. This demand was created, and now it's like with the cell phone. This was a created demand. It was a created need. So now you need your cell phone, because if you don't have your cell phone, you're disconnected from the world. So these guys are masterminds. They know where the world is going. They know how to change and influence behavior. And I think we will just, like you always say, we're gonna be the guinea pigs in all of it, you know. And I think if you don't get involved, you're just gonna be left behind, and that's just gonna be the reality. But I think one of the concepts also, they speak about end times. That's also debatable. Are we living in the end times? Me personally, I don't think so. But you know, other people will contradict that argument. But yeah, I think that's it for me.
So based on the data usage, again, we're going to, like you were saying, you and Xavier was saying that you don't think that they'll ever get to a point where they will master your thoughts. But remember that we are creatures of nature, and our behaviors and thoughts and attitudes and patterns are basically, if somebody had to study me, or even if we just know each other, we already know certain things about each other. We know each other's inclinations, we know each other's attitudes, behaviors. You know what makes this person tick. So although they won't get access to the direct thought processes of your mind, like what I'm thinking now and what I'm going to say, although they might not perfect that, but it's still dangerous in the sense that they already know Jesse's time frame is this. Google Maps, if you constantly use Google Maps or Waze or whatever, they know your
map tells you the quickest route, and it shows you how long and it shows you just before you leave work.
And how vulnerable are you then to hackers, right?
Yeah.
So although you're stuck in this virtual reality world, but what about the vulnerable? Because what is the age restriction for this thing? I mean, we've got young teenagers or barely teenagers that's playing Fortnite, that's living in this virtual world. Their minds are already being patterned. Even kids that watch YouTube, the things that you are watching, the things that you are letting into your subconscious is manifesting in your behaviors. The fact that kids today are so much more impatient than what we were, it's because those things have already been programmed. You are cyborgs, right? So everything that you take in, as innocent as it seems, you are being programmed. We're all being programmed, and we can't run away from that. But what does that do to the vulnerable group?
My child was watching real TV the other day, and she was like, "Can't you skip this ad?"
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, "No, this is TV. This
Exactly.
is not YouTube." She's like, "Skip this ad."
But then
but that's the thing. Their minds
Yes.
are already in like, "Man, skip this thing. I don't know what's this advert."
But here's another question that it begs. The concept of losing touch with reality. If your virtual world is better than your real world,
Stuck in it.
who's gonna want to come back to the real
It's
world?
like the movie Avatar.
What happens to your health? Okay, fine. You can, in the virtual world, apparently you can jump there. But if I don't even
it
want
doesn't
to,
help you, yeah.
no. But I mean, like you can
It's
actually.
not what happens in the spiritual manifest into the.
Yeah, but it also depends now if it goes to that big scale of like we were saying, if you go into that
The
room,
warehouses.
the warehouses and stuff, if it gets
Yeah.
to that point, then you literally are jumping.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Because
I
it's
see.
still physical work that's being put in.
Yes.
Facts.
But then again,
That's
it feeds capitalism, because you still need to pay for all these
Yeah.
things. You still need to pay for the gym. If you want to have a gym experience at home,
Probably gonna
right?
have to buy this.
You're going to have to buy something that is connected to. You can't just buy a normal treadmill or whatever, or normal dumbbells. They're going to create these things, and it just gives an opportunity. So although, like you guys were saying, the possibilities are endless, you're going to have trillionaires, people who's going to be creating things now, creators that's going to come, that's going to be creating things now. But you are feeding into capitalism more. I want more. I see the possibilities on this virtual world, but what about reality? Do you not lose touch with reality? Getting back to meeting people in real life. How? Imagine, like Xavier's children starting off at that age, right? Already introduced to the virtual world. They do schooling from home. They do church from home. They do literally their lives are at home in this virtual world. Firstly, I don't know what's that going to do to our eyesight. If we constantly, they say that they are developing the technology so that it's not harmful to the eyesight. It fits directly with the iris and stuff like that. So it's basically your eyes, and it's not going to affect anything. But neurologically, you cannot tell me that it's not going to affect
So
your
basically, you're
pathways.
speaking about all of the cons that weren't mentioned previously. All of the cons, that's what you're mentioning now.
Yes, yes. There's fakeness if you can create an avatar that doesn't look like you, the
Yeah,
catfish,
no.
we laugh about it, but
First.
what is, if we say, for instance, already there's these predators online. They can create a catfish image. Now you want to go meet somebody at an undisclosed location. En hier kom kry jy.
Hond first.
You see, also, what happens to us? The actual human, what happens to our lives?
Yeah.
What happens
I think
to
that's
us?
a good question.
Divorce rate goes up.
I think
Cheating in answers.
I mean, if you can, like Xavier was saying, if the possibility is to do the dirty
deed,
in your virtual world, how many people have access to the virtual
you laying next to your wife and you
doing the dirty with?
Let's not even go far. Look at the pornography consumption on in today's time. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. If you look at the stats, they say that people have already consumed, I think, worth 100 years of pornography in a year already.
Sheesh.
So you can imagine
100 years.
what.
Guys, think about it. Jobs. How many jobs are going to become obsolete if you work on the virtual? If your job description or your job thing can be accessed on the virtual world, there's no need for you anymore.
But I do.
The unemployment rate is increases. Not everybody is a creative. Not everybody is a creative. This world is for creative people. It's for people who can create, who can code. If you can't code, how are you going to function in this world? Like I said to you, if everybody stays at home, what's going to happen to the taxi drivers? What's going to happen to the petrol stations? What's going to happen? Look, I don't care if the petrol stations go bankrupt at this point.
The farmers and
I think
people that code.
I think, bro, one thing that we've learned is that we have to stay relevant, especially when it comes to academia and stuff like that. So, with the changing times, you can't go and study now. You want to be, for instance, the kids of today, you can't go study something that people studied 20 years ago. It's not relevant anymore. So, you have to go study either IT, information systems.
But that makes no sense because now you are excluding majority of population. You can't say that. You can't say that you can't want to be studying law because what are you going to need the law for if we're living in a virtual world? You can't want to. Those things, like.
Look at the accounting chip.
What if it fails?
So there's an accounting chip that has been created to do an accountant's job. What is the accountant going to do? He's going to be forced to go and do something that's going to be relevant, and in order for him to bring food or bread to the table, he's going to be forced, unfortunately.
But that was that person's gifting, spiritual gifting. So now you're saying that God made a mistake. Why didn't God give him the gift of coding? Why didn't God give him? That's his gifting. Like what? Like I feel like this world that we're creating is very selfish. Yeah. And I feel like it just highlights further how selfish we've become, how detached from reality we've already become. The fact that, where's empathy gone to? We don't empathize with people anymore. We say that if you're not going to jump on the bandwagon, you're going to get left behind. Finish and clear. They were saying that if you don't like beggars, you don't have to create beggars in your virtual world. So you never have to interact with beggars anymore. That's the extent that we're going to with this world.
It could also go both ways in terms of creating, like, let's say you are an accountant and you remember you're working with cryptos now within this realm. You could possibly start an accounting firm basically within this realm where you deal with the people's
100%,
funds within this world now where it's okay. You
so that means you become
basically want to
relevant.
purchase, basically how it is in real world. If you want to purchase a land or something, you go to accountant, you have your personal account, you say, I want to purchase a land here. You basically do transactions with him, he guides you, things like that. I feel like it could also, you couldn't necessarily always just take them out, but I feel like there is a possibility that you could take them out of the equation. But I feel like there is also still space for everyone, not in the world. I'm not defending the world or anything, but I'm just saying.
So this is the reality of the fourth industrial revolution now. Like what you're speaking about is the reality of the fourth industrial revolution. Remember, machinery is being made every day to take over a certain role that someone is filling now. So like, for me, I appreciate, like you have to appreciate technology in order to understand what the metaverse is and all of that.
Yes.
But there's like the cons, the major cons to it is exactly what you're saying. Who's going to be out of the job? Who's going to have a job?
Yeah.
Are we going to have a section where only coders are working class people and everyone else has to consume? Where's your money going to come from to consume if you are not working? Apart from...
Yeah.
Look, bro, I agree with you 100%, and I agree with Leandra as well. But right now, there's opportunities for investment. So I'm saying, just hear me out quickly.
I'm with you there.
I'm saying,
because
upskill yourself. I'm saying, obtain the knowledge. It is there. So it's like you're either going to sit there and just watch it happen, or you're going to be a part of it. Like you're speaking about the fourth industrial revolution. The guy Thomas Edison, he was the first guy who, they call him basically the guy who gave electricity to the United States of America up until now. And because of that, there was a ripple effect that took place that gave Henry Ford the capacity to reduce he created the conveyor belt. So everything that he was doing in the factory, it took him 9 hours. But when he did the conveyor belt using electricity,
I know the history of it.
it used basically 90 minutes or something like that. So I'm saying the metaverse is here.
It's for convenience.
I'm saying get your knowledge, upskill yourself, stay relevant, and look, I'm not taking away from the fact that it's gonna heighten the things like separation. It's gonna, like, I'm saying, what do we do in this instance moving forward? What is it that we do?
But you're speaking from a privileged position. What about the
But
person that
yeah, but
doesn't have
that's-
access
but-
to the internet?
Yeah, but that's
Look at all the examples you made. You made first world examples. All those guys, Edison, Ford, all of them, first world examples. How long did it take for us to adopt it here in Africa, in third world countries? What about places that are so remote that there's absolutely no internet connection? What happens to the farmers there? The produce that we get from those lands that do not have the luxury of technology as we have, even our infrastructure in South Africa currently. Do you think we'll be able to keep up with that? If we can't continuously have latency issues, if our networks are constantly down, we must compete with first world countries that have perfect internet, that can get access to things immediately. The gap in between the rich and the poor, for me, it escalates it.
But I do think that things are
So
changing.
I get that you say that you must upskill yourself, and it's easy to speak about that from a privileged position. And I'm not saying that you are so privileged that you've never been through anything, but I'm saying, think about the child that is still living in a shack at the moment with no electricity, and you telling that child, you better start upskilling yourself.
Well,
because
but,
out of
I'm gonna
100
say
of those
this.
kids,
Look at those kids. Do they have a smartphone or not?
not all of them have a smartphone.
I can guarantee you that many of them previously disadvantaged with on 2G cell phones, but now they're on 3G and 4G cell phones. I can guarantee you that.
Okay, but
Because
Previously disadvantage. They still
yeah,
have disadvantage
but that's what I'm.
area.
So that's my
Yeah, but
argument.
we
Things
must
are changing.
ask the question: does this help the poor? Well, because at the end of the
It
day,
will.
yeah, that's
It
what
will,
I'm asking.
bro.
how is it
Or-
going to help the poor?
No, that's my
If
question.
you're going to
That's
tell
my
me it helps
question.
the
Does
poor,
it
you
help
must
the
show
poor?
me how it's
Yeah.
going to help the poor.
Are
How
the
is it?
infrastructures gonna top up in those
You might-
areas for you to get this? What are the obviously are they
What's
going
the
to
way
charge?
forward,
Yeah, what's
yeah.
the way forward? Are they going to charge for these
Me-
things?
me-
Is there
There
a
is.
specific amount that
There
anyone
is.
can hop onto?
But that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to bring up what you mentioned as well. There's gonna still be your virtual and your reality in terms of there's such a big gap between it that there has to still be the reality. Those that can't afford your goggles, those that can't afford to get into your whole metaverse type of a thing, they obviously you're gonna be left out of it. You as a middle class, you could even still be left out of it because you don't know what the pricing is. In South Africa, our middle class is basically lower class if you compare to the United States. Their middle class can purchase it. Our middle class probably wouldn't be able to purchase the gear and stuff that they're giving it. How many people do you know that they have the virtual goggles? It was a big thing, but a lot of people never purchased the virtual goggles because a lot of people couldn't afford the virtual goggles.
But now do you think crime rate is going to go up?
In terms of?
In terms of you have this whole gadget and so forth on, and I'm, from a poor background and so forth on, I'm going to try and
It
steal.
obviously that's going to have ripple effects.
Yeah.
If you are basically fighting to survive, obviously crime rate is going to go up if you've got nothing, and you're going to obviously steal from the richer, not necessarily the richest, but the richer. So you're going to be stealing from somebody who's just a class above you. So yes, those will be the ripple effects. But like you were saying, Jess, with And even if you think about South Africa and adopting these technologies, it always comes at an extremely inflated price. So if
And
you
a later time.
Exactly. So if you purchase, say for instance, the goggles in the United States, maybe I don't know the price of these goggles. To be honest with you, I'm not familiar with that realm. But say for instance, it costs what is the let's say $260, right? Just for the goggles, not for all the other extras or whatever. Or let's say it costs $300. That equates to almost 4,000 Rand in South African dollars. They're still going to inflate that price of 4,000 Rand. So you're going to end up paying something like 8,000 Rand for goggles that somebody else is paying that can afford it in a richer country. And that puts further the gap between the rich and the poor, the privileged and the underprivileged, or the unprivileged. It just escalates that gap further. People become more detached from each other. Empathy out the window. Completely out the window.
And I agree with you, but I do think that we'll have more previously disadvantaged people have more access to these things, to information, to technology, because we look at ideas like Facebook, the free Facebook, where people, if you don't have data for Facebook, you just use the free version, or you use Facebook Lite or Facebook Flex or whatever the case may be. So we do see that these people are trying to change the behavior. And I worked for the telco, and these telcos were, the main thing was they called it 2G to 3G migration, 3G to 4G migration. That's what they want. And that's how they're influencing behavior. So I do think that this space will present a lot of opportunities for previously disadvantaged people. And like I said, we're going to have to keep up with the times and also pay attention to the things that you mentioned, like the separation, the isolation, all of those things we're going to have to potentially present solutions to.
In the words of Wendell, who was on our show, that probable reality is so far from your virtual aspirations that it's, for me, it's impossible to get that you say. In reality, it's in this virtual world, it sounds, theoretically, it sounds amazing. It sounds great that there's going to be more opportunities for previously disadvantaged people. But the reality of that is that it's so difficult to achieve that level of that you were speaking about, that I don't think it's possible. And if it is possible, it's going to take another 27 years, another 30 years for us to reach that level. For where we are currently, the way we've been going currently across the globe.
All that I'm saying is...
But we agree to disagree, so that's
Bitcoin
important.
created 17,000 millionaires that were not there before. And where did that 17,000 come from? So I'm saying that it can happen like this.
Yeah, but that world also create a lot of bankrupt previous millionaires. They also created a lot of those ones. So it goes both ways. So I'm saying that once again, it's still everything that you're saying still highlights the fact that there's going to be a gap between the rich and the poor, and things like world hunger, those kinds of things are going to become things of the past. We're not going to be focusing on that anymore. We're not going to be focusing on world hunger. We're not going to be focusing on child abuse. We're not going to be focusing on woman abuse anymore, because we are so stuck in this virtual world where everything is perfect. So for me, that's my sentiments on this issue. That's your sentiments on this issue. Anybody else? What do you guys see in closing? Because we are on 4 minutes past 10 at the moment.
Already? Wow.
Already.
Jay, what do you think, bro? Give us the juice.
Hey, bro. Like we started off, there's a lot of pros and cons to it. A lot of opportunities, like you mentioned, but Lee also holds a lot of good points. So I don't know. It's one of those where you're just gonna have to choose whether. I think there's gonna be room for everything. There's still gonna be room for the physical and for that. So I don't think people are gonna ultimately lose out if you still 100% in the physical. But yeah, it's one to look into when it does present itself.
Jess, you want to go into the comments there?
We got Daniel saying good morning, guys. We have Joan Hendricks saying good morning, young ones. Then she says, I think Meta is a change in position. It's conversation that consciously references upon its own subject. Good question, Lee, from Annalise. And then Jones says, I differ. We're all creative. If you give an idea, some thought, you will become creative. Not all children have smartphones. Yeah, that's basically what she says.
Okay.
But yeah, for me, I feel like the reality will always be necessary in terms of your avatar will eat, yeah, but you're still going to be hungry yourself. So you're going to have to get up, go to the grocery store, get your groceries, and you can come back, make something to eat, sit with and eat and play my your avatar.
Or you can order online.
Or order online, that's also very true. But then you have to still get up to
60.
go get him. You have to get up to go get it still. So yeah, your farming and stuff will still be there. Your fast foods, I feel like restaurants and stuff. I feel like there's businesses that will be affected by it, big time. Especially if you look at your companies that want to go this route and all that, to more your virtual, they're not going to have a building and all that. So what happens to your property area now and all that type of stuff. So I feel like businesses will be affected within the long run. But if you have the knowledge and you do, and you are like I explained in the property and everything, you have knowledge and stuff, you can still make money off it by investing early into it and starting property within the actual metaverse. So it comes down to a lot of knowledge as well, I feel. But like you also say, not everyone is open to receiving this knowledge, or they in rural areas where they can't get the knowledge. But in terms of the whole metaverse, I feel like reality will be there, because if I look at myself, I still want to go out and play indoor. I still want to go play football. It's not going to be the same in the metaverse. I want to go out and play it actually in the real world.
Yeah.
So I feel like reality will be there, but metaverse, there is a big opportunity there for you. If you have the knowledge, if you're able to obtain the knowledge, you will obviously become something big one day if you invest into these little companies. Well, that seem little right now.
Yeah.
But as they go and continue with the metaverse, it will be big one day. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Sorry, I have a phone
The
call
phone is
there.
ringing,
Yep.
bro.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mr. Producer, do you have any closing remarks on your side?
I just want us to not forget it. We're not migrating from our reality onto metaverse. It's just going to be a part of our reality, just a place where you can, if you are business minded, if you are selling NFTs, if you are into the crypto space and even to gaming, it's just one of the platforms for you to express that and have fun doing what you love. Like for people that are serious gamers or people that do coding, they'll appreciate their work by entering into the metaverse and just living a part of, like a reality that you created, and enjoying that. But yeah, let's just see where it goes, because it is in its early stages. It was just introduced to us. So I'm just excited to see what happens from here on out.
It's like what Kaden's explaining. You have Fortnite. Fortnite has your creative area, basically, where Fortnite itself doesn't create the games within the creators, but people all around the world create it, and it goes onto Fortnite itself, where you can literally go play John's game. It's on Fortnite. Yeah, it's a Fortnite game, but John created it, and they still give him the credit for it. But yeah, that's basically. But I also feel like with the, as much as you say it, it's still, I feel like it will still overtake a lot of people's lives, in terms of, if you're looking at now your Microsoft trying to go into it, they're trying to overtake now your whole business must.
Well, that's the reality, because look, we have a lot of people that are serious gamers. They live on gaming now. Their career has been becoming gaming. So I think that would be the same for the metaverse, like people that escape reality and want to do something that's very exciting that they can't do in real life. So that's why I'm saying it's in its early stages. We want to see how it develops from here.
Yep.
Definitely. It is in its early stages, and we do want to see how it develops, but we also must not be ignorant to what is actually happening and the possibilities of what that world introduces to us and what that could mean for us. But thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for the people who got involved in the live chat. And if you did like what we were talking about, please like this video, show your love, show your support for this, show your like. You don't have to love it, but please show your like for this video. Please hit that like button. If you have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And if you do want to know if we are on, when we are on, or to get notifications about when we are on, although we're on 9 a.m. every single day, Monday to Friday, then please hit that notification bell. Also, please share this with friends and family, or just on your social media platforms. Share it on your meta wall so that people can hear about this. Thank you so much, everybody. Much love to you. Have a lovely week further from me and the crew. Bye.
I think you so beautiful. You should be